Welcome back to the show. So, two big pieces of news in the Q world, because they're still around. You know why they're still around, Johnny Million?
No, I never understood why they started.
Because twofold. One, these people have nothing better to do. They don't have any real friends. They can't interact with human beings face to face without driving people away within 3 minutes. They're socially broken. They've driven their families away through all this nonsense.
Sure.
They have, this is the painful part, they have, some of them, a good deal of them, most of them, a good place in their heart that cares for, allegedly, children who are being victimized. This has always been the story, right?
That's
Yeah.
the big joint forces.
That's right. We got to stop the big cabal of pedophiles, that whole story, right? And
It's for the kids.
I'm all on board with that. Knock yourself out. You're a big fan of the Chris Hansen shows back in the day, right? The Catch a Predator show. Oh my God.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the only downside of that show was that you were basically going, when is he just going to start curb stomping these people? How many wine
So
coolers?
why are you here?
That's
I'm
right.
here to make sure that they don't meet with people like me again.
Exactly.
What?
I'm like, I always wanted him to pull like a lever and a giant Monty Python 16-ton weight would just come down on them. You know what I mean? At a certain point, you're like, if there was any justice in the world, there would be just a trap door under that little stool where they set down their wine coolers and then quack, it opens up and they end up, with just alligators below, So, I have a harsh sense of justice internally. I understand we need due process. That's important. But we all go there, you know what I mean? Like, and you're always amazed at the people that show up. You're like the broad swath of human beings that show up. You're like, this is a little creepy, right?
Yeah.
So the folks that are the Q adherents who really are all in on that part of it, in their heart of hearts, a lot of them are there for the children. They're protecting the children. They have to protect the children. Johnny, they have to protect the children. The children are at risk. You must protect the children's.
That's why we're here.
And the way they're doing that is by following the clues and that are left by Q that the bakers in the Q movement figure out for them and give them marching orders. So the Q plants all these little seeds, and then the bakers make these little cookies of truth. And then they eat the cookies of truth, and then they eat me and grow big and drink me and grow small. I don't know how it works. Anyways, but the point is,
sounds delicious.
The bakers, the people who do this stuff, who are telling them how to save the children's, are the influencers in the QAnon world. Like a gentleman named David Totoshini, who goes by David Trent, because when you're in the business of saving children from a cabal of pedophiles, you need a nom de plume.
Yep.
And this guy, David Trent, who's helping these people figure out how to fight the cabal of evil pedophiles who are working behind the scenes, the deep state of cabal of that drink the children milkshakes and what have you, the adrenochrome injecting Democrats or what have you. This guy is going to teach you how to go after those folks. Well, actually, turns out that he, like many of the other people, like the couple of people who were Trump campaign people who were also QAnon influenced, who also had got online and tried to talk a 12-year-old into coming over their house. And luckily, that 12-year-old was a 47-year-old police officer who's just great at pretending to be a 12-year-old girl online. This fella, Totoshini, who goes by David Trent, not because he's trying to hide anything, but because freedom and the cabal will come after him.
Freedom!
Turns out in 1999, he was found guilty of coercing an 8-year-old boy into sexual acts 3 years earlier. Spent 5 years in prison. Went to jail for sexually assaulting a child. And
for only 5 years?
Yeah, he went to 5. Yeah, that part boggles my mind. I'm sorry.
It's just shy of murder.
Yeah, you have permanently affected that child's life. You have stolen a part of their ability to live a life. It is as bad as if you had severed a limb.
It's just going to be a walking trauma reaction for the rest of their life.
Right, exactly. And now they get to be 13 when you get out of jail. What is that about? Don't get me started. I don't know why that is. It's amazing. It just boggles the mind. So this guy, his alias was first uncovered by an investigation by an extremist tracking website and a project of People for the American Way, Right Wing Watch. They managed to track down that this dude had a record. And this is why he was doing it. Now, at the same time, there is a dude who's also another QAnon fan. He worked as a clerk in the Michigan elections, and he stole. Let's see. Let's start back at the top of this thing. A key piece of voting equipment has gone missing while under the supervision of a pro-QAnon clerk, prompting a Michigan State Police investigation. Key piece of voting equipment, which was the equipment's disappearance, came after a week of controversy for Stephanie Scott, a clerk in rural Adams Township, who has clashed with Michigan Secretary of State over Scott's bogus election fraud claims. It also marks the second time a piece of election equipment under the control of QAnon-tied election officials has been compromised. Ahead of the special election on Tuesday, Scott refused to allow maintenance to be carried out on voting equipment. Instead, Scott told Michigan news site Bridge, Michigan, that she wanted to preserve data on the machines from previous elections, an apparent reference to the false idea that voting machines have been used to steal elections. Now, these things are calculators. They don't, if you were going to do some major hacking in the world of this thing and shift stuff around, you wouldn't do it in these devices. You couldn't do it in these devices because you'd need a printer printing the fake ballots in a warehouse separate, far away, and to be brought in
China.
Yeah, with panda poop in the fibers. You would need, you couldn't just change it digitally because there would not be a physical. So anybody did a recount, they go, oh, there's 40,000 votes on this machine, and there's no votes in the box that corresponds to that file. It doesn't exist. And they did recounts, and those paper votes exist, and they're aligned with a voter. And those voters, if they signed up for notification, got a notification that their vote was counted. So if you go door to door, the people who will answer the door and want to tell you, and they go, did you vote? Yeah. Did you get a notification on your phone that your vote was counted? Yes, I did. And then did the person that you voted for win? Yep. The people who come to the door are like, no, they did not. Did you get a notification that your vote was counted? I did not. I don't even know that I went down there. I voted by mail, and then I went down there to a voting booth, and I was like, I need to vote. And they're like, you already voted. I'm like, no, I didn't. I just mailed it in. That counts as voting. Would you like a provisional ballot, or would you like to file charges with the Secretary of State that your vote was defrauded because someone else voted on your behalf through the mail? Nah.
Sunglasses and a hat.
Yes, I will just walk out laughing to myself. That is the allegation that Donald Trump made, that a lot of people went down to vote and somebody had already voted in their stead, and they laughed and left. They were just upset, and they didn't file any charges. Now, would you, Johnny? I know you. If you would have voted. You went down to vote on election day, and you were like, "Where's my ballot?" Yeah, and they're like, "No, you already voted. Your ballot's already been counted. You're a valid voter who already voted." I shoved all those words into one word, and you'd go, well, no, I absolutely did not. Well, is this your signature? Yes, it is. Is this your ballot? Yes, it is. Is that who you voted for? Yes, it is. I would like to vote again, though, please, because I think my vote is going to be erased by a Chinese hacker. Well, we have your paper ballot. Your vote was counted. It's actually in there. It's already counted. That's right. But you don't understand. The person I voted for lost. Well, yeah, that happens in an election. Not to me, it doesn't.
No, not to me. Mm-mm. Yeah, no, I would raise hell.
Yeah. So
I would call my local pillow entrepreneur.
That's right. Yeah, you would go home, tear open your pillow, look at that premium patented fill, look for the tag on it, and go, oh, rats, I tore it off, and like that.
Now I'm in big trouble.
Because I'm a scofflaw. And then you have to go rifling through. I think it just fell under the bed. You didn't throw it in the trash. You just threw it on the floor. Yeah. And you look at it. You get the number. And you call Mike Lindell on the phone, and he give him an affidavit, and that affidavit is legally binding, that will guarantee that, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. What are you?
And then I found out that I spent this entire time on the phone with Jesse Ventura on speed.
Yeah, right. That's the fantastic. My voice sounds a little different when I'm down below the Denver airport, and it's all a conspiracy by the UN shock troops.
Is he a Denver airport guy?
Yeah, he did a special from there. He did Jesse the Body Ventura did a conspiracy TV show,
amazing.
and they did one about the mural at the Denver airport. It's fantastic. But you signed an affidavit, Johnny Million, that said you believe that you thought you saw something that appeared to you to be voter fraud. And if that's not legally binding, I don't know what is. That you affirm that you believed you thought you saw what you thought was wrong at the time, Your Honor.
I have thoughts.
And therefore, if they show you evidence to the contrary that proves that you are, to quote someone who's currently in trouble, clearly lying, if they found that out, you could go, well, all I said in my affidavit was I believed I thought I saw.
Yeah.
That's
the point where I would double down.
Yeah, you can't throw me in jail for being a sucker, because that's what all these affidavits say. All of them. I've read a bunch of them. The ones that Rudy Giuliani was peddling. We've seen a bunch of these things. And this QAnon dude that's working as a clerk, cut from the same cloth, wants their beliefs about what they thought they saw to be legally binding on someone else's vote. But if they are caught trying to vote twice, they will walk away chuckling to themselves, knowing full well that they were violating the law. Their vote was not stolen. And this dude who has stolen this tablet, when Cast and their team arrived in Adams Township to inspect the voting equipment, they found a surprise. During the inspection, officials discovered that the voting machine's tablet, key part of its operations, was gone. Michigan State Police launched an investigation Thursday to uncover who took the tablet. It's not clear who took it. Scott didn't respond to a request for comment. A spokesperson for Benson declined to comment on the ongoing tablet investigation, but in remarks to Bridge, Michigan, made before the missing equipment was noticed, Scott seemed focused on protecting the equipment from other election officials. She's got to steal it before they can steal it, because the fear is that someone will steal it in secret. So she has to keep the theft of this thing and who may have done it secret from the cabal of voting machine stealing secret people. This is the Trump world right now. This is all that's left, except for Trump Social, the new Donald Trump social media website.
Wasn't the beta hacked?
Oh, we'll find all about it when we come back, because I've already signed up for it. I, like hundreds of other people, signed up as Mike Pence. And I'm hoping to get my own version of the orange check mark or whatever it comes with. We'll talk about it when we come back. Apparently, it, like the rest of the Trump brand, is doing terribly right now.
What?
And might not be something you can run on in 2022, contrary to popular belief. And popular in air quotes. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT820.com, and of course streaming at infotainmentwars.com or fwank.com, FWANQ.com. You can subscribe on Twitch, twitch.tv/HalSparks by going to the fwank link. And if you got Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime, baby. You can help the show out. It doesn't cost you anything. You just help that way. Be lovely. Even if you watch or listen to the show in other ways, it's a great way to help. We'll be back.